welcome to the vlog. The race was Tuesday, and it is now Saturday, so I'm just getting around to actually filming my life. But just to give a short recap, the race went better than I was expecting it to. Or not expecting it to, it just went better than last week. I think based on my calculations, I finished around 7th. Yeah, it's one of my best results in the B race so far. I've been really into crits for a while. And I actually, in order to build my dream road bike, which I did in the first few videos of this vlog series, I sold my gravel bike in order to pay for an upgraded group set. However, I always knew I was going to get a gravel bike at some point. And I wanted that to be more of a beater gravel bike that was more something I could tinker with quite a bit, mess around with, have fun there. Basically, just a recap of my history with gravel bikes. I had the gravel bike that I just sold to upgrade my road bike. That was going to be my one and only bike. But my very first gravel bike, I bought used. I drove down to Dallas and bought a Cannondale CAD X, an alloy frame. And I loved that bike. I named it Molly. It was one of my most favorite bikes that I'd ever owned. And I sold it to Haley Bailey, who lived down the street from me at the time, but neither of us knew who each other was, or that we lived just down the street from each other until we agreed to meet in the parking lot of our closest supermarket. I sold that bike to her so that I could buy, and then I sold my road bike so that I could buy the nice gravel bike. And after a little while, I realized how much I loved that bike, and I really regretted selling it because it was like the perfect cross/gravel bike for me. It was a little rough, but it was still like what I really wanted. And then this past week at Wheeler, because I still know Haley, she sold me Molly back. See, that sounded weird. Molly, it's not a drug. It is a drug, but a different kind of drug. So Haley sold me the old gravel bike back, and I can't tell you how excited I am. I'm essentially going to start taking this bike apart, and I'm going to do the same thing I did with my road bike. I'm going to sand her down. I'm going to give her a new paint job, and then I'm going to put the old group set that was on my road bike, the SRAM Force 1x group set, on her. There's a nice group set that's already on her, but I really like a 1x, as you guys know. And then I'm gonna have an adventure bike that I can play around with, play in the dirt, have some fun. So I think before I start deconstructing the bike to get it ready to paint, I really want to put it together with the stem and the seat that I'll be riding with, just to get an idea of what it's gonna look like when I'm done with it. Alright, so I just wanted a visual of what it was gonna look like. For my own personal inspiration before I started completely deconstructing it. That's mostly the reason why you should have two bikes, so that you can be fiddling with one while you're riding the other one. So, I don't know. Another tip. That has nothing to do with parenting. That actually has less to do with parenting than any of the other tips, because that's bad advice for parents. This is bad advice for parents, because this is one more thing that I have to do on my schedule. But it's gonna bring me joy, and I don't have to do it quickly so I can work on it during nap time, like right now, once or twice a week. And if it takes all summer, then it takes all summer. It's not going to take all summer, but you never know. All right, so it's a couple days later, and we got the bike fully taken apart, except for one little problem: the bottom bracket. So since I have really mastered being able to take a bike completely apart and put it back together, I have only worked with these bottom brackets, which are 30, something about a 30. And then if I'm not mistaken, I don't know what the exact measurement is. Yeah, I don't know what the exact measurement is, but Shimano spindles are smaller than pretty much every other spindle out there. And all of my tools that I have to remove a bottom bracket require the bearing size to be bigger. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get this off. I really don't want to buy a new tool, especially because this is actually an adapter. And I don't intend on using this bottom bracket again, nor do I intend on using the Shimano tools. So I want to find a way to take it off without having to buy anything or take it anywhere and waste somebody else's time. So I'm gonna have to figure this one out. But other than that, the bike came apart. Like I said, I'm not gonna reuse this group set. That's a kind of a mix of Shimano Ultegra and Dura Ace parts. Mechanical shifting with hydraulic brakes. And then I'm going to replace it with my trusty SRAM Force one by group set. I'm more comfortable with it. I like it. I don't have to explain myself. I know that that's probably a nicer group set, but I really like my SRAM group set. Anyways, we're out of time. That's the end of this week. Thanks for coming along. Here pretty soon, I'm going to start the sanding process, the arduous, annoying sanding process, and then we're going to work on getting this a new paint job, which is really exciting. I don't know how seriously I'm going to take the sanding process. I really got tired of it last time. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next week. Alright, so I looked at it a little bit harder, and I put that bottom bracket on 5 years ago when I upgraded to the Ultegra crank. I realized that it's only sort of press fit. It doesn't press from both sides. One side presses in most of the way, and then the other side you use a good old-fashioned bottom bracket tool, Shimano bottom bracket tool, or whatever, I don't know exactly. Part tool BVT-19.2 tool. And it just simply goes on the end right here, and then you unscrew it. And then you can remove the other side with your regular bottom bracket tools, or bottom bracket removal tool thing that I already have. So there you have it. Sometimes you just gotta look at something for a little bit, and it all comes back to you. All right, now, she's completely taken apart, except for the seat post and the saddle. But I'm not worried about that. So yeah, bottom bracket is removed. But anyways, now be sure to like and subscribe, and I will catch you next week.